Hey guys, and welcome back to Pikmin 3! In the last day, we encountered a pink onion, and then we got to meet the winged Pikmin, and we got an SOS from Louie. And in this day, we're gonna find if Louie's actually alive or not. Because it cut out pretty gruesomely there at the end.
He knocked over a tripod and everything.
I mean, for Louie, that could mean a lot of things. And interestingly enough, he apparently managed to breach through the coat pad, which kind of throws another wrench in that whole... You know, Louie's kind of knows a little more than he seems.
He's a techno-psychic.
Yeah, like he's a little weird. They consistently stay with that. Like last game, it was he can eat bugs and potentially control the boss, and now here he's able to hack the coat pad. If my understanding is correct.
So my headcanon is that Huckatations don't have rubber ducks,
Yeah.
but somehow Kopite does. Because Charlie has one, but the ship in Pikmin 2 had no idea what the rubber duck was.
Wasn't it something along the lines of, like, conversation ender or something? I feel like that's wrong. Just seeing the thought of them, like, just talking, it's just... They just set a decapitated rubber duck, and they're just like, the meeting's adjourned.
I hope something was called conversation ender.
If not, I want to trademark that one. So, in the last day when we moved up a branch, we got the SOS from Louie. That branch was able to let the river push the water through again. So now, riding this lily pad near the base actually grants us access to the next area we're supposed to be in.
Does this area loop around?
I think it does, but not if you ride on the lily pad though.
Okay.
Like you have to like actually walk across the whole thing. So we have more of our arachnode friends here, but they're not really that much of an issue, at least if you can get them from behind. We're going to be seeing a couple more of them.
I think they're just strategically placed so that they'll catch winged Pikmin when they're bringing something back to the onion.
Yeah, like it's actually a great idea to get rid of them as soon as you can.
Now, I did watch ahead, and I do know that the rock Pikmin you threw at the arachnode have real trouble getting up here.
Yeah, they do. We'll get a little more into it when we get to the next arachnode, but it was more of an aiming thing. Up there, we have one of the bugs that I wanted to showcase that's flying around. On one of my takes, I managed to lock on through it through this wall, but I couldn't. But we'll be seeing it soon. But it's very useful. Because by the size and shape of it, you would want to not really attack it, but once you realize that it's full of nectar, you're going to want to attack it every time you see it. We also want to take care of these little skitter leaves here, because they're actually hidden really well to the point to when I was going through this, I actually couldn't see them.
I didn't see them at all, yeah.
And the worst part was, there was a moment where I just split them up for a second, just trying to like think in my head how many I would need, and then I just saw them getting eaten. Okay, and there's our moth. There we go. Forget its exact name. Oh, I was never gonna remember that. But yeah, like the cool thing about the dandelions is that they are just basically a nectar train. So when you see them, they don't really fight back, and they just end up dropping a bunch of little nectar splotches for your Pikmin to attack.
They have a real cool design.
Yeah, I really do like how nicely they flow. It's interesting because like the first time you would see something like that, you'd be like, I don't want to hit it though. Of how horrifying it looks. So, now that we're here, I want to actually split the party. Shocker, I know. I want to get some of the pinks and some of the rocks so we can get to work on building the bridges. That's a neat little thing you can do with the pink Pikmin, that if they get left behind, you can just whistle for them and they'll just fly over the water. The reason why we need bridge pieces is because we can't actually go to the oak when the camera zoomed out earlier. and that's because we need to build a bridge to get up there. So these little things, these Scornets, are pretty annoying, and they're just kind of chilling around here. And thankfully, as long as you have pink Pikmin, there's no trouble ever. But for whatever reason, I ended up losing one in this fight. It's weird because there's no real, like, actual strategy to that little encounter. You just kind of have to throw them. And every other attempt I did, I didn't lose any pink Pikmin until that one attempt. I lost just one, but thankfully I like farming pink Pikmin, so it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah, you were at 40 when you started the day.
Yeah, it's not like purples where I was just like, well, I have to stop everything I'm doing and reset time.
It's nice that the new Pikmin, because they also have onions, you're not limited to the places where you can get more.
Yeah.
Which was the trouble with the purples and the whites.
Yeah, that was like a big issue. So with these bamboo gates, the pink Pikmin are able to lift it and you can like grab other things and make the Pikmin cross it. But this is a little bit of an oversight because there are 3 big Bulborbs. And remember how I said that the pink Pikmin just don't give a fuck? They just didn't give a fuck.
Well, those are the guys who pretend to be asleep. Maybe they were just actually sleepy and couldn't be asked.
I just find it interesting that they, like, completely missed that, because even if a Bulbear was there, the few times where I saw them actually try to bite, they would just miss and fall on their face. Okay, so, this is an issue I ended up having because I only had a few rock Pikmin. I set the other rock Pikmin to go with Alf and Charlie, and so here I'm having an issue where I'm trying to swap to my rock Pikmin. Thankfully, you're able to whistle the Pikmin away, but you do not want the Arachno to eat any of your Pikmin. Another neat thing the pink Pikmin can do... This is the pink Pikmin episode, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, right through me.
I'll be fine. They can lift these little... I want to say... cupboards. Or...
They look like interchangeably school desks or clipboards.
Yeah, either that or like cutting boards that you can move around. But yeah, they can lift those, and there were some bridge parts in there. And this... I love the noise they make. So, this is me using the Ultra Spicy Spray for the first time. Like with every other first-time action, you get a cute little bit of dialogue.
The reason is everyone's favorite.
Everyone's favorite Snagrit guy. Funnily enough, even though we were told that the pink Pikmin are physically the weakest attackers, and they are, for the Snagrit, it's their worst nightmare.
Because they just go right up to the face.
Yeah, because they just go right up and attack. The Snagrit has been known throughout Pikmin history to just be a motherfucker to deal with, but in this game, it's been relegated to easy because of the pink Pikmin. My yellows ended up taking the apple to the wrong way, but it actually wasn't their fault. It was my bad because I haven't pushed the paper bag out of the way. But it's funny to think about how in the last 2 games, the Snagrits were just a goddamn nightmare to deal with, even if you had, like, sprays and... even if you had, like, Ultra Bitter and Spicy Spray. But here, because they can attack just the head, it's almost a non-issue.
I don't remember, is Ultra Bitter in this game?
No, there is no Ultra Bitter Spray.
Huh.
I guess they figured freezing the enemies on top of everything else would have been too much. And now we have another data file from Captain Olimar.
Complaining about how Louie sucks.
It's a shame, because I liked Louie. Like, I really did. I don't know why all of a sudden in this 3rd game Louie was relegated to just kind of like some sort of idiot. Which, okay, yeah, sure, he caused the plot in the last game, but he still went with Olimar, and he was basically just as capable of Olimar as commanding the Pikmin as he was, so I don't understand this whole now Louie is completely incompetent and can't do anything thing.
You hear that? Do not open that clipboard.
Yeah.
There's some buddies down there. It's basically a trap.
Yeah. I was gonna demonstrate it, but there's like a bunch of little mini boards in there. And if you open it, they're just gonna sit there and wait for you. So here's another oversight of the pink Pikmin.
They just flipped it right over the gate.
Yeah, they could. Because the gate is in the way, they actually can't just negate it, but the fact that I'm able to grab and touch it, it's gonna come into play in the next day. So let's just say that I'm setting things up for the moment.
Okay.
But the fact that I'm able to grab it at all is just kind of interesting. It makes me wonder, like, for Pikmin 4, like, how are they gonna playtest that one? Because by this point, they have 3 games worth of people doing things they shouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
Like, they could just watch literally any speedrun, and they'll just see, oh wow, we completely missed that. So it's good to usually have like a handful of rock Pikmin when you fight the Arachnodes, but in this case, I wanted to get the Kiwis. And that was also an example of this is how easy it is to lose one of your Pikmin, because I wanted him to help the other Pikmin grab that Kiwi, but instead he just ended up missing and standing there. So, we have a bunch of fruits being gathered at the moment, and we also have bridge pieces being built.
That was the sound of a bridge falling over.
Now that we have that, we can actually make our way up to the oak. The giant oak tree. This is a gorgeous level to look at still.
Oh yeah. There's like a big leap in the design of the entire world from 2 to 3.
Yeah.
He called out, but it was too late. Right up the butt.
And, looking at this oak tree, it seems like those Scornets weren't just hanging around. Okay, I'll be honest, this is probably my favorite design boss in the whole game.
This guy is weird, he was a pain in my ass.
Yeah! So, Scornet Maestro, he's probably, even now for me, he's probably one of the most difficult bosses to fight. See, remember how we fought like a couple of those Scornets, and you know how like the pink Pikmin aren't the strongest physically? They're the only ones who can really deal with the Scornets. And Scornet Maestro's whole thing is that he's able to command in a very clever way with his strings to attack you guys. A lot of Scornet Maestro's moves are actually leader dependent, so an annoying thing he does is he loves to waste time like this. So that's why I have Alpha and Brittany just kind of on the wayside, because if I can have him focus on them when I'm trying to do something, then he'll have the Scornets focus on something else. But for the first few bits, like I can just mess around with that and just throw some red Pikmin towards him. I use Ultra Spray to attack and see if I can get away with more damage, but in Pikmin 3, the bosses have like a little bit of a damage cap. I think me using the spray, because usually it takes at least 5 charges to kill him, but I think because I used spray, I knocked it down to just 4.
Yeah, it's one of the things I don't like about the bosses, in that you can only ever seem to get maybe a quarter of their health down before you have to restart the round.
Yeah. It's annoying and very time-wasty, especially for this boss, because by this point, I should have already been done. What can you do? This is me using more spray to be like, maybe I can get a little more?
No, you can see as soon as he hit that quarter chunk, he stops taking damage.
Yeah. By the time the second charge happened, you could actually see the meter turn yellow for a second, but revert back to green.
Wow.
This is the most important bit for me, because this is the most difficult part, and now that Hurry Up has shown up, it's gotten more stressful. So what he does is, he starts sending the Scornets slowly circling around you. And then they start to close in on you slowly but surely. And then all of the Scornets collapse together, and they just, if you and your Pikmin are just like in that circle, all of the Scornets are gonna take your, like, pretty much your entire squad, and you're just gonna see your Pikmin just like in peril as it just like circles around you and has like this DNA strand going around itself. It's crazy. So that's why I have Alpha and Brittany on the side, so that way I can actually, you know, win the fight. This is me being like, oh, thank God. That's why it took a while to get rid of that Captain Olimar dialogue box.
Just needed to breathe.
Yeah. Because not only is this fight a pain in the ass, but the fact that I just got the hurry up notification, I was like, oh, please let me do this.
I like how the Pinks refuse to go anywhere. No, we want the Scornets.
I'm like, please, if you love me even in the slightest, just... I know you don't love me, but please, just get the damn fruit and get the dying man. I also decided to forego the boss corpse, because by this point I was like, fuck you. That being said, despite how much I hate it, I do like its design a lot. I do think it's really clever.
It's a cool design, and it is an interesting idea, because there have been monsters that control other monsters through sound and what have you, but to have, like, its saliva strands be harp strings, that's a very peculiar case of creativity.
Yeah. Very disturbing as well. I'll be honest, as a kid, it's not that I was scared of bugs, but I really didn't like bugs when I was younger. So, going into a franchise like Pikmin, I really thought that I was gonna not be able to get through it, because when I was a kid I was at least scared of spiders, but honestly, like, I really appreciate all the bug creatures and insects. So what's currently happening is that I'm trying to find where one of my pink Pikmin went off to, because my pad is telling me that it's around here somewhere, but I don't see it. And there it was hidden behind the little cupboard.
Yeah.
It kind of makes me wonder, like, maybe, like, more squeamish kids would find that boss really creepy.
It does make the most sense, considering the size of these characters. You're probably gonna see more bugs than anything else.
Yeah.
Well, guess who's not gonna make it to the ship?
Yeah, so, part of the reason why I also don't like fighting Scornet is because the amount of time wasted makes it so you're guaranteed not to actually get Louie and the fruit on the same day. And believe me, I tried. I tried so many times. It couldn't be done.
Did you actually save the Pinks?
Yes I did, actually.
Because it didn't look like it.
Yeah, it didn't look like it, but this surprised me too. I lost one. And I don't know where that one was, and at first I was like, oh look, it survived! Never mind.
Yeah, what's the dumbass wing Pikmin running on the ground?
Maybe when the sun goes out, it just doesn't, it goes blind, I don't know. So, basically I ended up discovering this while I was playing through. Remember how in day 2, when I said that, like, Pikmin transitioning from one path to another, you can actually see the counter of how many Pikmin are on your field decreased. So if it's like 0, that means all your Pikmin are with you. When you're transitioning through one of the little hallways or into another area of a map, it counts as your Pikmin being with you.
Wow.
So even though they were clearly carrying Louie and the fruit through the next area, I'm assuming the game kind of loaded them and deloaded them in a way. And I guess the game considers that being part of your squad. So me letting them go through the next area basically negated me having to rescue them. I lucked out, basically.
I guess so. It's probably a failsafe because once they're in there, there's no way you can get them. So
yeah,
it's probably a backup to prevent the game from fucking you over.
I mean, I really appreciated it.
Yeah. Though it does remind me of something. I know it was in Pikmin 1. I don't know if it was in 2. And I definitely don't know if it was in 3, but maybe you can confirm this. You remember how if you lost a lot of Pikmin in one area, if you came there the next day, sometimes there would be Pikmin sprouts where they had died? Is that a thing in this game?
I'm not actually sure because I remember in an earlier day I said that extinction can happen in this game, but I also said that the day automatically ends, but I learned later on that if your Pikmin numbers just like deplete to 0, the onion automatically sprouts seeds for you, so you don't have to wait for the next day. I would assume that maybe it would work the same way, but if anything, they took a lot of the frustrations from the previous 2 games out, but at the end of the day, the core gameplay is going to be relatively the same.
Uh-huh.
So you're always going to end up losing Pikmin no matter what you do.
Yeah.
Unless you're like a Pikmin master or something.
Well, that's just something I remember from the first game. I know it happened to me at least once, where I lost a bunch of Pikmin, like especially in, what was it, the Forest Navel? And when I came the next day, there was a Pikmin in the ground there that had sprouted, but I don't remember ever seeing that in the next 2 games.
Oh, right. You know, that's actually really interesting. I have no idea. I should probably look that up. So, even though we have Louie, because we ran out of time technically, we have to just kind of sort of leave him there. So yeah, we did in fact just ditch Louie. It's okay, he'll be fine. It's a little annoying to me because I was trying everything I could to make sure that I could recover Louie at least before we have to waste another day, but because how much time the boss fight takes, building the bridges and all that, we have no choice, but we have to come back a second day to pick up Louie.
I do like that the note that we get at the end is, it kind of sucks that we had to leave him out there.
Yeah. They're just like, hey, good news, we found the guy. Bad news, we left him.